inspires you? Is it someone from history? Is it a family member? Possibly even yourself. We today at the Let's Talk Fabulous show are going to be exploring this question for Women's History Month, and we're going to be sharing some highlights from the last 3 months. The Fab Five are here. What do you think? Let's talk. My name, let's see. Oh, here we go. We've got 5 now. And then there were 5. This is, I love it when it's a live show. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am one of the Fab Five. And I'm going to have everybody go around and introduce themselves, their name, and where are they. So my question answered is I'm in the Ozarks, the middle of the United States. And we're going to go next to Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy Willett, and I am beaming in from Southern California. Great to be here.
Wonderful. Next we have Barbara.
I'm Barbara J. Beckley. I'm coming from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Woohoo! Cheese land, right?
Yeah, Cheese land.
Okay, and then Kim. Okay, let's bring you in. Why am I having technical issues? Okay, Kim, there we go.
All right. Hello. My name is Kim O'Neill, and I'm also in Southern California, a little more inland by the mountains, and happy to be here.
We're happy you are too. And Gloria.
I am Gloria Grace Rand, and now I'm on the other side of the country. I am coming to you from Melbourne, Florida.
So now, okay, everybody has names now. So you can all remember who we are. We have a show for you guys. And before we start, we want to recognize those that are here with us in our digital studio audience live. And we put out a question on social media this week. We want you to participate with us. We want to know who inspires you. So please share that. Through the show, we'll be sharing that information. So what do you guys think? Let's have some fun now. Here we go. March 8th, 1908 was the very first time that National Women's Day was ever officially recognized. The purpose was to bring awareness to working conditions for women and the lack of the right to vote. Many would call it the suffragette movement. Today on the Let's Talk Fabulous show, we are going to be sharing who inspires us, also some of the highlights from the last 3 months. What do they have to do with each other? Everything. You see, there's those women in our lives that inspire us to do things today, one of which, my great-grandmother. In 1908, she was a suffragette. A graduate of college, she bought her first property in 1909 as a single professional woman and had a professional career before she married. She was an example to me that anything and all things are possible. And throughout the generations, her story lived on. Her son, my grandfather, would sit and share with me how anything and all things are possible if you believe, and that you are always to look at a way to make things better. We are going to be sharing stories today, highlights from those people that are exploring their fabulous lives. Thank you for being a part of today's show. So you guys get to see, and her name was Pearl, actually Anna Pearl. Yet she liked to go by Pearl. And what is really cool, and I'm just going to share this little bit too, is that my birthstone is a pearl.
Of course, naturally.
So I wanted to kick off the show, and it's Team Pug Po. Hang around because you are going to be featured today. We have so many of our friends showing up. We love it. And oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, we have someone below the line, and I was joking.
It's hard to stop leading, isn't it, Tamara?
You know, this is a live show, guys, and we want to welcome one of our newest team members. We are a volunteer crew, and I want to welcome. We have Erin in the house, and
Thank you, Erin.
Yay.
So yeah, so many of you know Erin Houchin, and so we want to recognize her. All right, I am going to share. Now, remember, this is a participatory show, guys. We're going to do this every quarter. You guys are going to get the Fab Five every single quarter, and we're going to make it a fun and fabulous show each time. This one we're piggybacking highlights of the past 3 months and Women's History Month. Who inspires us? So I went to the Fab Five and I said, okay, let's have some fun with this. I want some videos from you guys, or I want something to tell us who inspires you. And we're going to kick it off with this.
For Women's History Month, I would also like to highlight Nellie Bly. She was known for pioneering investigative journalism. She lived from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. And one of the most prominent known things that she did is she actually intentionally got herself admitted into a mental health institution so that she could see firsthand from the inside out what was taking place. And she later reported on it, and she ended up contributing to reform in mental health institutions. She also contributed to reforming divorce laws, basically improving the lives of working women, and just continuing to see areas where there was room for improvement. I would say that she was not one of those women who said, hey, this is the way that it's always been done, and because they said I couldn't, then I won't. You know, I'm not condoning going out and like breaking all these laws or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying sometimes we have to think outside the box to really create improvement in our world. We're all a light here in this world for a reason. And I would say that Nellie Bly actually absolutely let her light shine and created a better world for all of us, even if it didn't look that way at the start. And if people didn't understand, and maybe people were even trying to stop her from what she did an amazing job creating positive reform in our world. And while she's been acknowledged many other times, I think it's worth acknowledging again. Thank you, Nellie Bly, for all the work you've done.
How cool
Wow.
is that? Okay, so tell us a little bit more about her, because I don't know about you, the other Fab Five, yet I knew a little bit about her story, but I didn't know her name, and I wasn't aware of so much of it. When did you first, was she on your radar?
That's a great question, Tamara. I got to be honest, I don't entirely recall. I would say somewhere in the last 10 years, I heard about this woman and I was instantly moved and inspired by her bravery, her courage to do something in an area, a field that was there was so much stigma, so taboo to even be talking about mental illness. And here she is going to fake having a condition herself so that she would get admitted into an institution and then be able to report on it. And she had to firsthand experience what was taking place. And what I have learned is there were things like filthy conditions, abusive treatments, and something new I just recently learned is that a lot of the people that were in the institutions were also non-English speaking immigrants. And so that to me just takes this to a whole other level of like, thank you, Nellie Bly, for choosing to say that what's happening is not right. This is not okay. We've got to take better care of these people. And she did what she felt she could do at the time. And so I just find that so amazing. There's still a stigma today around mental illness, but it's getting less and less as people are understanding that I really personally, this is my perspective, see our mental and emotional health really just on a spectrum of well-being. And I love that we're being able to take down all these things that say it's wrong to look at that, and how we can take better care of ourselves and each other. And Nellie Bly is just a radiant light in that arena for me.
Absolutely. In fact, it piggybacks off of, we had Overcoming Trauma was one of our shows in the last 3 months, and Joy was the host of that, and we kicked off the show with one of the videos that was sent in, and we love it that our panelists will submit videos. Makes our show fun. I want to piggyback off of what you were just sharing and then continue this conversation after we listen to this.
Hi, I'm Kevin Russell with Warrior Horse. And on this week's show, we're going to be talking about overcoming trauma. And trauma, of course, is nothing more than something you've experienced, something that's occurred, that you've witnessed, that you weren't built to endure, understand, and get through. And it leaves you almost crippled. The memories come to you, there's no switch to shut it off. And when the trauma occurs, it's like a circuit breaker getting flipped. And you're not able to function and perform at 100% anymore like you should be able to. And it's very important to overcome, because then you can be a productive member of society. You can be the husband, the wife, the daughter, the friend that you once were and can be again. And at that point, you don't have to worry so much about yourself. You can actually use the experiences that incurred to be able to help other people through whatever blessings God gives you. So be careful what you endure, what you experience, and what you subject yourself to, because I wouldn't want you to get caught in the trauma and have to do something in order to trip your circuit breaker.
I thought it was so interesting because you sent in the clip of Nellie Bly, and then we had on February the 23rd a wonderful show, and we're really gonna say go back and watch some of these shows in full segments, or the full episode, because they're really spectacular, fabulous. But the fact that Kevin had sent this in, Joy, right? And we had already a video that we were ready to share for him, and yet you're like, this is so spot on, we need to share this too. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, okay?
Well, on the show Overcoming Trauma, and Kevin Russell, what a dear, dear soul, and his mission in life is to help the wounded warriors and our veterans to overcome trauma through working with horses. It's Warrior Horse. And he just had it so succinct about what happens. It's about the neurology and about, we take in these things in our world, everyone takes it in, and then something gets triggered, it flips the switch, as he said, and suddenly you're back in that moment. And that was a perfect way to describe trauma and what happens when we experience it. Yeah.
Okay, I want to leave this up. Okay, so I'm so glad, and in fact, your video is up next. I love Florence Chauvel-Shin. I hope I'm saying that right too. Another powerful lady with an important message to share. You know what? That's one we're going to have to look up, because I am not aware of who she is. Thank you for sharing. In fact, okay, we're going to go on yet. Okay, see what's going on, guys. I want to point this out because, if I had some finger painting or, like, okay, the dots, we're putting the dots together here, because the history of the early 1900s helped to bring a spotlight, shine the light, to be able to speak to these subjects on a fabulous show where we now have resources, we have programs out there. Did the issues go away? Or is it that we're shining a light with solutions and people stepping up and exploring our fabulous lives. A thought. Okay, and as promised, here we go.
Okay, here's the secret. Are you ready? I believe in miracles because every day holds a possibility of a miracle, and here's why. Because there is so much chaos going on outside in the world, and it's hard to get off that hamster wheel because it's affecting us and coming in at us from all different directions. And by the end of the day, you're laying in bed and you're going and rehearsing through the day, and you're thinking, wow, it's so hard because your mind is racing how to go to sleep at night. So my husband and I have a trick. We'll start thinking about things, recapping the day, and all of a sudden we'll start feeling, and then all of a sudden I'll say, okay, what are you grateful for? And he goes. And then he says, okay, what are you grateful for? Then I go. Then he goes. Then I go. We do 3 gratefuls. And by the end, our heart is filled. We're feeling joy and love. And we kiss each other goodnight. We're able to go to sleep and able to manifest the miracles for gratitude for the very next day.
She's so adorable.
She is. Oh
Love
my
that.
goodness.
Gloria, this was from the show that you hosted, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
and-
It was about
What
living in the
show
present
that
moment.
was?
Yeah. And I just, I've known Shiro Nana for years, and I love her. And our show was all about just, how do we make the most of today? And I love that she talked about gratitude, because that is something that I always talk about and I practice myself, because it's so important. And it really does help, I think, as well. It ties back into this trauma piece too, because when we can focus on what we have to be grateful for, it helps our whole mindset. It helps us to feel a lot better. And so even as we're getting support for whatever trauma is going on, to be able to focus on just living right now, making the most of what we have today, and remembering all of the wonderful things that, we're alive and we're still here. We've hopefully got a roof over our head and food to eat. That's wonderful already right there.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like, guys, I mean, you are adorable. You are adorable. And as a host, and Barbara, I want to bring you up for a moment because of the fact that, you host so many shows. You have a whole network, in fact, and we're lucky that you're on the Fab Five. Thank you. And when you have shows, and then you have people that show up and they let their light shine, as Kim will say, and they bring their personality, and we have a lot of fun. That's a unique situation. That's a unique formula, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And you mentioned the biggest word out of that, unique, because I always tell people all the time, don't try to be somebody else. You are unique and have that light, like Kim always says, to shine for the world. There's so many people out there and they need just you sometimes. So I'm so glad that, that's why I love the Fab Five. I love the show, especially when they tell me their stories and their innermost, uniqueness gifts, because it's so important right now for the world to see that right now, especially when it ties into love and, just believing in yourself and confidence.
Perfectly said. Okay, one of the things that was shared, what was her shirt saying? I believe in miracles. Right? Okay, so here we go.
There were 2 women who made a huge impression on me as a young child, and they were Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan. I remember watching the story of a movie about the 2 of them called The Miracle Worker when I was a kid. And in it demonstrated how, for those of you who don't know, Helen Keller became blind and deaf at, I think, age 2. And so she wasn't able to communicate with her family. And so her family hired Anne Sullivan to come in and teach her. And Anne, who also had vision problems of her own, was still able to, through sign language, and there's this one scene with Helen's hand under the water, she was finally able to make her understand that these signs she was doing in her hand were signing the word for water. And so she was able to communicate. And after that, Helen just soaked up language like a sponge, and she went on to become a writer. She went to college, graduated from college, and Anne was with her all the way, helping her and teaching her as well. I think they've instilled in me a love of writing, even at a young age. I've been writing since I was a kid. I loved writing stories and things. And I think from Anne, I picked up the teacher part because I teach people in my business now. Thank you for making a big impression on me as a young child, and I really want to honor the memory of both of these women today, Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan.
And Barbara, let me bring you back up here because you submitted this to me. Tell us a little bit about these quotes. Why do they speak to you?
Well, the first one, when it touched, I mean, everybody's reading it, but when it says you're most felt by the heart. When you put your heart out there, people can see that, people can resonate with that. That's, to me, is more powerful than anything you can see or hear. And I love right now, because I got me and another host loving on Helen Keller. I have to say this because the other one where it says, alone we can do so little, together we can do much. This proof right here with the Fab, the Fab Five, and then everybody else out there that you have your own, people, wherever your tribe or what you want to call it. It's just so important to have that heart and have a heart of gold where you can share that heart and come together with others that have the same type of mission and then go for it.
Thank you. So well said. And I want to say, because anybody that's into quotes, which a lot of us that have shows or, that are speakers or whatever, many of you out there, I don't know about you, but like when I first started, it was always, okay, what did Helen have to say about this? It was always, there's a few of those favorite ones of the people that just, I have my standards that I'll just go to, and then from there I'll venture out. But, their wisdom and their inspiration and guys, are you seeing a common theme here?
Yes.
You think about this, Women's History Month. Now, a fact that many may not understand or even know. And when I was doing this, I realized I didn't even know this. Oh, here, just a minute. Here, there's 5 now. Okay, is that Women's History Month. Okay, I started the show off saying in March of 1908 that women's, it was a day. It wasn't even global. A few years, it started to grow into a global movement. Not until the 1970s did Women's History Month actually become a thing. And now it's global and we celebrate it. Yet look at the people that are inspiring, from the early 1900s. And we have what's called the Legacy Series that we've been doing here for a while. Remember I said in the beginning that Steampunk Post air around, because you're going to get a moment in this show today, which we honor every single week, pretty much, that, the Legacy Series, because we believe that yesterday can blend in, flow into today, that can then affect our tomorrow. And we are exploring our fabulous lives. So here you go, Steampunk Poe.
In the quiet moments, when the sun begins to rise, we find the strength within us. In the stories of our lives, not in gold or glory, but in hearts we've touched with grace, in the love we share with others, in each kind and gentle face. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held and the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old, It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. Through the trials and the triumphs, in the battles that we fight, it's the courage and the kindness that will always shine so bright. In the lessons that we teach and the dreams that we inspire, in the way we lift each other higher and higher. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you held and the souls you found to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. In the final song you sung, and the curtains drawing near, it's the moments filled with love that will echo year to year. In the footprints on the path that guide the lost and blind, your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held, in the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you've sparked in others, in the stories that are told. So let's live with open hearts and give with all our might, for the legacy we leave is a beacon in the night, in the echoes of our actions, in the whispers of the wind. Our legacy of love is where it all begins. Our legacy of love is where it all begins.
Your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind.
One thing about that song is that each week it applies to all of our fabulous topics. And we had a reaction. Yes, Steampunk Poe, we love you. We do. And may I say, we're grateful for everything he does for this show. Absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to play something because each week I know I get something different, and I got to see everybody kind of dancing and singing, and we hear this every single week, and we're the host, and yet many times it's the very first time someone's ever seen this video. There was a reaction that we captured and I'm sharing it as a highlight because the information that was shared, I don't know that she was ready to share it until after she was inspired. And this is the moment that happened on a show that really is all about sharing our hearts and helping to raise the frequency of the world through love. Here you go.
I had to hold back from tears, and I'm still having to hold back from tears, but I'm a survivor of 2 near-death experiences. I've died and been to the other side twice, and I was given a choice to come back in and share what we're talking about right here from that video. I was told as I came back into the body that I must help the world to understand that they must give of themselves freely without expecting, and love is all there is. I've spent 28 years mastering that from my heart, understanding what unconditional love truly means. And most of us don't even realize that when we align with our heart, it vibrates at a frequency that's 40,000 neurites more powerful than our brain. It emits a sound wave out into the universe that draws back to us what I said earlier, ease and grace. So I'm all about unity and every one of us giving to each other unconditionally.
still gets me. Tears, you know, like I didn't say get your tissue box out, you know, guys. Whenever you go out, be ready for some laughter, and then you know you have your tissue ready too. And that show was a show that Joy was the host, and it was Ready, Set,
Respond.
Respond, right?
Yeah.
And all about preparedness, and yet here was a moment in time because of being touched in the heart and soul. What an incredible experience. And I'd love to put it out there from the hosts. What are some of the other experiences that you've had, you know, after we've shared this video, because the song, because it really has instilled so many moments that have, and Lori, we're so grateful you're with us, sharing the love with us too. We love it. Love it. Anybody want to speak to that? Because
I will.
Gloria. Oh, okay, Kim, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, for me, it is a reminder to come back to your heart. And I think is not only important because we can feel that when we do that, when we make that shift and come back to our heart, but I think it is something to be reminding the world about through that song, because our world has a propensity to really emphasize the mind and stay up here in this headspace, and our minds are amazing. And this is where all that power is. This is where the change happens in our heart space when we're back in our bodies. And so that's what comes up for me. And it is a beautiful song. It's a great reminder. And I just have to take a second and say, I apologize because I'm the one host that I know I haven't included it in every episode. And we've talked about this, and it's going to start showing up in the ones that you see me on. So my apologies to Steampunk Poe. It's an amazing song, and it'll be aired a lot more when I'm hosting as well.
I love it. And you know what? Because we do have the Fab Five, and we all have a different energy, and we did that on purpose. And you led into perfectly, and Joy, thank you for that show, because that was an amazing show. So guys, go back and watch that one, because there's so many. And be ready to, we also say, be ready to take notes, because so many of the shows, we put together panels to give you information that is going to absolutely help you to navigate your lives. That's our promise. And we had a meeting recently, and that we conferred and we renewed that promise that we want to be that lighthouse on the hill for you, and to help to normalize your life with great tips and information and pearls and nugget, you know, and just all of it. Pearls. Yes, wink, wink. Okay, so now we're going to have a bit of an exercise, because we do have these, and to help to refresh us. I'm going to play this one.
Hey, loved ones. Coming with a tip that I use every single day when I am navigating the clickety-clack that is happening in my mind. I often describe my mind as a monkey juggling hamsters on a unicycle. And so to get into a space where I can breathe easy, I have a 3-breath method. And so when I'm taking a deep and clearing breath, what I do is I think about this. I take a breath for you. I take a breath for me. And I take a breath for the space that's between us. That's better. We do not owe an instantaneous response to anything in our lives, and it's always helpful to take a breath before we respond. I hope that helps.
And that was from the segment about navigating the clickety-clack. And okay, when I did the promo, guys, you know, forgive me, I thought it was going to be a movie. It's actually a TV series. And you are a part of a book series and going to be a TV show. And you're part of that, aren't you, Kim?
Yes, yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to it. It's already won 16 awards, and there are a variety of platforms and networks that are currently, you know, assessing airing it and all of that. So yeah, it's very powerful and meaningful hearing people's stories about how they navigated the clickety-clack, and Steph presented a great tip in that episode of bringing it back to your breath and pausing. Yeah.
And so to go and watch the Navigating the Clickety-Clack episode, because so many great moments in there from all of the because they're all part of the book series, and they've all been a part of this, and they were hand chosen. Keith Leon, we want to recognize him too. He's supported All Roads Lead Back to the nonprofit Chemo Buddies for Life, and he has supported us over the years. We want to have a big shout out to say thank you for all of that support. And in fact, we want to go into now because yes, we support. And in fact, I did see some Purple Hearts, so we want to recognize the Purple Pin Club. We're going to do that for a moment, and then we're going to go immediately into another video and come out and speak.
Been 9 years and 3 months sober, and I had a stint with drugs and alcohol for about 13 years, and it came to an end when I had cancer. I got cancer, and it was like I beat cancer, I beat drugs and alcohol, and there was it came to the moment of decision of how do I want the rest of my life to be. I already experienced what the toxic life that I had created. And it was just looking the other way to see what and how. And, a lot of people, come and tell me and say, hey, well, you stopped because you got cancer. So no, I stopped because I made a choice. And I remember talking to somebody a long time ago, and he said, how do you stop something? It was the same way you started it, right? You started it and made a choice, and you stopped and you made a choice. Did I try to stop for a long period of time? Yes, a lot of things that happened in my life in those 13 years, and how I see it today is how I made that decision, and life happened for me. It didn't happen to me as far as having cancer and drugs and alcohol and all that stuff, but it helped me to see a lot of things, how I affected others in a negative way, but at the same time, when I made that decision, how I impacted other people's lives. And not only did I set myself free, but I set a lot of others on the path to their freedom also. So that's...
Ooh. Okay, Albert, you're sharing lots of good nuggets. Both you and Hobby already. This is for both of you.
And then I just have to add this too, because I like playing with these. Woohoo! I got to do it. Purple Hearts Club, and this show, all roads lead back to the buddies, because we do believe that healing through connections and within community, and we are all volunteers, can make a difference in our lives. And we've all been touched, and the Purple Pin Heart Club is one aspect, and we recognize every week. And at some point we'll go into it a little deeper why. Yet one of our contributors, one of our Fab Five, she recognized someone that I want to play now, and then we're going to go a little deeper.
I wanted to share about a woman who has touched my life very, very deeply. I am inspired by my own mother. Her name was Evelyn. She's been gone for 40 years. And she was one of the kindest, most loving people you will meet, an angel truly on earth, yet she had the heart of a lion. She was fierce and courageous. She raised us 5 kids. She came from very humble immigrant beginnings in Calgary and Banff. We were raised in Vancouver. She always has had a kind word, and I am so blessed to have that bar of standard of what it means to be a powerful, loving, strong, inspirational woman. My own mother, Evelyn Cooper, that you were and still are in my life.
What a beautiful tribute, Joy.
Aw.
Absolutely beautiful. And you know, when you submitted that, and I'm starting to put this into order, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think, and it really, she's been gone a while. She left early, didn't she?
She
Tell us a
sure,
little bit more.
yeah, she left 40 years ago, and she was 54, and she died of cancer. And there was a lot of circumstances around that. It had to do with my twin sister, fraternal twin, and she had gotten ill, and she's now better. However, it was a very trying time. And our mother was, like a lot of mothers, let's say, was the hub of the wheel. And when she passed, everything kind of fell apart. And we had to find our way back again. So, thanks, Skip. Yay. And so, you know, when we were talking about who do we want to honor, and, you know, I know a lot of incredible women, of course, but it was just my mom, because she lived that legacy of love in our family, and certainly for anyone that really knew her. So to bring it back home to sort of the more present time, I wanted to honor her as for all of us, those who inspire us, then we share that lineage and that legacy with those who go on from us, whether they're our family, our friends, our children. And the lineage of love and courage and strength and innovation carries on.
Absolutely. And in fact, okay, I will say this, because I got to put this all together, and that everyone here wanted to honor their mothers. And so what I said was that we will be watching for Mother's Day weekend, because we will be putting out, and we want to encourage you, our audience, if you want to honor your mothers, to send us clips. And what we're going to be doing is over the week and the weekend of that show, we will be sharing those in highlights. The show will be slightly different. Kim is going to be our host, yet we want to celebrate mothers, because we can. We're the Fab Five. We want to celebrate our moms. Yet, Barbara, you sent me in this. Tell us about Sally Mae.
Sally Mae. Well, I forgot to put Sergeant Sally Mae.
I wondered if you were going to.
I said, I better be nice. I said, okay, Mom, I'm going to honor you. I don't want to do that. But real quickly, I want to thank you, Tamara, because just like I think her and Evelyn are up there talking. But I just want to say
in there too with 2 A's.
Oh yeah, too. They're all together. But I just want to say real quickly about Sergeant Sally Mae Beckley is and let everybody else know, please give grace for people that have stories that you might not know in their life that drives them to certain places when they're helping and trying to feel their way. My mother was a dynamic mother. My mother was a sergeant. She was rough. I'm just going to say that. But it made me the woman that I am today. And I always have to remember that, because before she passed, she told me, because I didn't ask her, I said, Ma, you've been rough on me. Because I was in the Army forever, it seemed like, with you. And she looked at me and she said, I didn't love you if I didn't do what I did. And then she told me her story behind everything. It made me cry, and it made me realize we need to look at people's stories before we judge. Yeah. So I love Sergeant Sally Mae Beckley, and that was powerful. I'm so glad she said that, because 2-3 weeks after that, she passed. So I'm so glad I had a chance to hear her story. So please be out there to hear everybody else's story, because you don't know what's behind that rough exterior.
Okay, this has to come up now. double dip. Here we go. Okay, yeah, write that down, and with a lot of love, just so many words of wisdom. You guys are going to want to watch this show again, I have a feeling, and go back to, again, if you go to the Let's Talk Fabulous show on YouTube, you can find all of the 2025, the first 3 months shows right there, and you can back to back to back to back, because there's so much great information. It was so hard to pick clips for this show because I mean, there's just so many of them, and when we add in people like Helen Keller, Sergeant Sally Mae Beckley, Evelyn, and Nellie Bly, Pearl, Anne Sullivan, so many. And we will, check with your host if you've been on the show and get us your clips that way, or messenger us. And, there's the 5 of us, and get us your videos of your mothers. We'll doctor them up like we do here at the show, and then we'll create highlights, because we want to honor those that mean something to you. This is a show for all of you. We show up for you. That's why we show up. And in fact, this next clip will remind us exactly that.
Being present means so many things. I'm a writer, so I think, great, I love to write in present tense, and I absolutely live in it. But too many people live in the past, who and what they were. And though it's good to learn from yesterday's lessons, it's much more important to concentrate on the realities of today. Hello, I'm Jim Flaherty. I'm 89, going on 49, because I'm so busy living and still learning. I'm ready for tomorrow's challenges. I'm really laying the groundwork for a bright future. And I want you to know something. Every day is a gift. Every day is a miraculous opportunity to wake up, to see, hear, taste, touch, speak, share, love, embrace. What could be better? Thanks so much for joining me today. Today, the present tense, today.
Who doesn't want to adopt him? Right?
I know.
He's so amazing. And I was trying to remember too, because he also learned something from his mom as well. And I don't remember exactly. So go back in and watch the episode, because I think he mentioned something about looking in the mirror is all I can remember at this moment. But it was a lesson that he took away that, all these years later. And he's such a role model as well for everyone of how to be able to live life to the fullest. And I just, he's too adorable.
He's so adorable. 89.
89.
I'm 49, and when his birthday is going to be 90, we need to throw him a party or something.
Oh,
it's like, okay, he's just like, we're adopting you over here at Fab Five, and that was living in the present moment, guys.
Yeah,
and watching that one, and he's not the only one we want to adopt. Okay, I don't know about you, but I want to find her props. I mean, let's watch this one.
Y'all get double eyeball hearts, I'm telling you. So I'm so bowled over by the synchronicity of this panel. So listen, coming from a culture that you didn't even have permission to dream, right? I love the suggestion to write in a journal, because it is your conversation with your version of God, source, universe. You're literally asking for what is your birthright. And I love this conversation, because we're all saying the same things in different ways, so that audience, you hear that you're allowed to dream, you're allowed to ask, you're allowed to receive. Those are the biggest things I'm getting from this. I'm just so excited to be here. More eyeball hearts.
Love it.
Oh, that was too much. I love it.
That was good.
Barbara, that was just such, I mean, your giggle too during it was just like, okay, how can you just not be watching that show?
You know, yeah, I need her as like a wake up call. I tell Jen all the time, I said, you need, when I wake up, I need to hear you talk about, but you know, yeah, she's amazing. That's the true her. That is the true her. That was that show was about. So she shows up all the time that way.
And that was being the true you. So if anybody wants to go watch that, and oh my gosh, yeah, you know, I'm gonna put this one up here. Yeah, we love her too. Oh my gosh, you know, like and we, you know, so glad that you all are here with us. Just want to recognize you again, Andrea. Oh, love it when you show up. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, Pastor Shante, you're just amazing. And yeah, Queen Sergeant Sound. I mean, Barbara and I have compared notes so many times that we were like, okay, you know, our mothers must have been mothers.
Yeah.
How did it all work? I don't even quite understand it, but our mothers were so much a lot, right?
That's why we're sisters.
I know, absolutely. I cross my heart. Yes, I cross my heart. And Skip, you did For the Buddies, and again, we're all volunteers within the organization, and you did a beautiful tribute a few years back for Mother's Day with that song, and he sang it. His voice is beautiful. And then he did all of these pictures and incredible. And so many people involved in our organization, within our volunteer team. I just want to say thank you to you all. Now, okay, so we have another clip that I want to share that I think really sets it off. But before that, I know I've been talking a lot about the buddies, and I think I'm going to share the video if I can find it right here. Yeah, I'm going to share this real quick. Who is it that all roads lead back to the buddies? This is who they are.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
Share this with your friends and family and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
And we right now are going to actually end with one of our the last clips that I have, and then we're going to be, because you are going to be seeing us all coming back here soon. Be watching for more shows. Yet I want you all to listen to these words and see us next week.
Hello, my name is Cortina Jackson, and I am showing up as the version of me. And it is time that we showed up as the version of who we really are. A lot of times in my life, I wore what I call the clown mask, and I talk about it all the time. I presented the way I thought people wanted to see me, or how they perceived me was very important to me. But when you learn how to show up as yourself and just realize that you are enough, It's comfortable. You're not wearing weight. You're not wearing coverings. You are just the best version of you. So I'm very excited about this topic. We're going to delve into this a lot more to find out the value of you.